All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is King of Cards Tarot Readings. Today we are here for a general collective reading. So, you all know, I like to look for the good. Sometimes it's easier than others, but regardless, I'm trying to find that positive arrangement, the way to deal with a situation in order to produce the greatest effect or result or outcome. And this is looking like a pretty good reading, honestly. My flash read of it is basically go forward towards your desire. Just keep in mind your budget and like your limits, your limitations. Um, and don't worry about failure or success. Just let your seeking be your success. So go for it, and that is enough. All right, into the reading. So, for our main issue, we have the Knight of Wands. So, he's going to represent the fiery part of fire. So, this is acting for the sake of action. The action is the goal. Um, I sometimes see dancing as an embodiment of this card. Now, dance is not one thing only, and I don't mean to limit communicative forms of dancing. What I mean here is dance can be a chance to move for the sake of moving without needing a secondary reflection of the motion or of the action. And yeah, I think that's a really healthy whatever. But yeah, so I'm getting from this card as the main issue that you can act on your desire. So if you feel like crossing the street, cross the street. If you feel like waiting on this side of the street, wait on this side of the street. But either way, like take into account the situation, you know. Don't cross the street without looking. And if you stay on this side of the street, but like I don't know, there's a runaway shopping cart coming towards you, be aware of that or whatever. I don't know. But let your action be your guide first, and then make sure that that action is safe. Um, but yeah, really tap into the movement that arises naturally. And that doesn't mean you have to act if you don't feel like acting. Don't feel pushed to act when it's not natural for you, because that's going against the action you want. Okay, so let's say On the right hand opposal, our future state or our affirmative influence, we have 5 of discs, which we call worry in this deck. And I look at this card as dealing with the concern that comes when we have stepped out past our power and are moving towards our goal. Like, you've spent the night at the inn, you've replenished your supplies, everyone is healed, equipped, and you head out on the road towards the quest. Now, your main concern is the quest and what will happen when you get there, and that's what you're prepared for. But between town and the quest location, you do have to pay attention to, I don't know what we call it, critters, creatures, vagabonds, barbarians, whatever. The perils along the way. And most people, if they're quest focused, will do their best to avoid the perils of the road and just make it to the quest location as quickly as possible. And so, in that sense, their worry is avoidance dynamic. And if you're someone who likes to engage in random spawn, then your concern is like identifying and engaging those camps on your way to the quest location. So yeah, I don't see this card as meaning being worried, but as having an awareness of the potentials and then deciding how you move in regard to those potentials, whether moving towards or moving away from. Yeah. And then our left opposal, our past tense or our antithetical influence, we have Ace of Discs, which, generally refers to what you have at your disposal, your material conditions. So that's why I say beware of your budget as you act. Not that you have to worry. It doesn't look like you are limited in your budget, but there's a sense of scale, of scope, as far as what your action can be. So if you have $50,000 in the bank, then taking a trip to Thailand might not be a big deal. But if you only have $1,000 in the bank, taking a trip to Thailand is not a good choice at all, right? So think about what your budget is and what action you're moved to. Like, is it the action of going to the beach? Is it the action of lounging for 7 days? Is it the action of getting on a plane? Because there are alternatives to Thailand for the $1,000 budget that could be valuable in your pursuit of self. Yeah. So, Knight of Wands, act for the sake of acting, on the spectrum of Ace of Discs to Five of Discs. So we're coming from what have you got available. Also, in terms of dancing, I would say you you want to be aware of let's see here, like balance, gravity, and obstacles. And some of that actually can fall under worry in the sense of obstacles, like with people on the dance floor or people in your space as you're dancing. And Ace of Wands is more like the walls, pillars, any chairs or tables. Just be aware that your motion is happening in relation to what else is present. And yeah, so pay attention to what you have available to you, work within that, and be aware of what is possible on the path to what you seek. But if your action can stay within those parameters, there's no real success or failure. It's like practice. You're just taking shots at the hoop, basketball, not alcohol. You're feeling into what is the distance, what kinds of force do I have to exert to get close, what kind of micro adjustments can I make in my shot to get me closer, more consistent. Yeah, just like run through the action repeatedly as many times as it feels right to act, and it will produce its own effect through the repetition. Yeah, so then, in other words, this is saying practice. Get your practice in. Like, do your workout and don't do it for the result of improvement. Do it for its own sake, and improvement will come. Okay, so for our deck top card, we have the Ace of Wands. So this is the root of fire energy, the root of action. And yeah, that just really echoes the Knight of Wands, who he's the fiery aspect of fire. So he is very tied to the Ace of Wands. So yeah, really just let the action be the focus. Focus on what is the action? What is it made up of? What is the space in which it occurs? Again, if it's basketball, you know, look at your position, look at your stance, look at your outfit. What are you wearing? Um, yeah, what does it feel like in this space? Are there a lot of people there? Is there nobody there? Is it hot? Is it cold? Are you hydrated? Just like really take into account all the factors separate from the action each time you take the action, and let the action be your standard, the thing you return to. And yeah, there's a consistency that will come out of that. Yeah, this is a good reading to me. I think it's a sign that everybody has been taking my advice on the past readings, and especially after the last reading, I think this is a good sign of what's to come. I do get a feeling that there's going to be some confusion down the road, but the good news is we haven't gotten to that part of it yet, because right now everything's still undefined. And So there's not a lot of conflict. Really, we've been working on reducing conflict, moving away from conflict, and keeping conflict outside of the working space. It's like fans don't get to be on the court during gameplay. It's 5v5 or however many. And then maybe the ref is what, on the sidelines? I don't know how it all works. But yeah, it's a good reading. Keep up what you're doing. I mean, I just reiterate, be aware of what you have to work with. Be aware of what is in the field, and if there's ways of avoiding or minimizing that, that's a plus. Otherwise, if you have to engage, try and isolate your engagements so you're not getting swamped by three camps simultaneously. Try to take them on one by one, um, but then return to your action. You know, you're blocking, and then you're returning to your stance, and then you're striking, and then you're blocking, and then you're returning to your stance, and then you're striking, you know? Yeah, really just consider this time practice and know that perfection will come through practice. And the more you can perfect your practice, the quicker and more perfect perfection will come and will be. Gosh, this is a short reading. I hate to leave you guys hanging. What else can I say? Hmm. I mean, the Ace of Wands is telling me that through this practice, through simple practice, nothing flashy, just simple, repeated action, you'll actually rise to the height of the given field, whatever it is. Um, yeah, because anyone who's not doing this will stay at a low rank, and anyone who is doing this will climb. And so that's going to be the initial separation. Who practices, who doesn't practice. But that practice needs to be coming from a place, yeah, of your true desire. So whatever you truly desire, that's the thing to push for and to repeat and to keep at the focus, at the center. But mostly just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Stay busy. Don't overdo it, but that's not even what it's saying here. I don't think you can overdo this. I think it's other things you can overdo. But this, it's like if you spent all day doing this, you wouldn't get bored of it. You wouldn't get tired or exhausted. You would literally just refine the practice to a high level of function. So, yeah, I guess I can't emphasize enough how instrumental this reading is to the whole process of encountering self and elevating self. Yeah, anyone who's good at anything knows this. You can't buy anything except the time to do this. But if you have the time and you do this, that is what buys you that high level play. Because this is what gives you refinement of all the intricacies between point A and point B. For most people, point A and point B are one cotangent point, and they happen simultaneously. Like in the terms of basketball, it's just taking a shot. It's one thing. But for the person who practices, there are so many moments between when you're like ready to take the shot and then when you've taken the shot. Like there's a flow of you're in your stance, you begin, I don't know, you sink, then you spring, and as you're doing that, there's a tucking and then an extending, and all the while you're bringing a little bit of lateral sway to dead center things. You're looking, you're breathing. There's all sorts of different things happening in the body and in the mind as you move from start to finish of that. There's all these micro movements, places where you can hold or release or tighten or relax, and those will impact the total flow. Yeah, just repetition, repetition, repetition. Do the thing over and over, like as many times as you can. Yeah, over and over again. Do the thing. Do the thing over and over again. I mean, I think that's about it. I wish I could just keep going on. I can, but it just makes so much sense. Do the thing. Do it over and over again. Do the thing. Do it over and over again. Pay attention to what you've got and be aware of your surroundings. Because if you run out of what you've got, then you can't do the thing anymore. If you don't pay attention to surroundings, then you might have to deal with something that's going to keep you from doing the thing. But if you keep doing the thing, eventually the thing becomes second nature, and that's the whole point. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when new messages drop. This has been King of Cards Tarot Readings, another general collective message. Thank you, everybody. I will see you soon.